What's going on, guys? I appreciate those of you that were hanging out waiting for the stream to start. For those of you stopping by watching the replay, though, make sure to hit that thumbs up, turn on all notifications while you're subscribing to the channel so you won't miss out on these live chats in the future, because you do have to be subscribed 14 days to take part in the live chat. So a little bit later start than normal. Had a pretty busy day. Dog had a long, eventful day at the vet and getting groomed and all that good stuff. So kind of threw the typical schedule off a bit. So I figured it was best to just reschedule this from 3 Central to 5 Central this morning. I went ahead and did that. So anybody that wanted to be here could, adjust accordingly if you want to be here for while it's live. But we are here now. I do these split screens with ifragrance when things that interest me come along, because there's always new stuff getting announced pretty much daily. But there's a few that I want to talk about. Some of the absurd, which I'm sure you can already assume based on the thumbnail and the title, the absurd. And then two of the more interesting ones, and then we'll take a look at what else they have. But for the time being, today's scent of the day, Mancera's Fabulous Yuzu, basically lemon bars in liquid form to spray on your body. That's how you can look at this one. Smells, yeah, you get a juicy yuzu, but you get a lot of lemon smell as well. Cake-like, vanillic. The way I described it in my shorts video earlier, let's call it a citrus gourmand, shall we? Because that's what it is. A lot of citrus and a delectable dessert-like cake, giving it that gourmand feel. 4 sprays was plenty of sillage. The sillage isn't crazy strong. After a few hours, it has died down quite a bit. I've had it on for a few hours now at this point, but it lasts a really long time. I would say you could get away with, 6-7 sprays easily without overwhelming you and everybody around you too much, but they're definitely going to smell you. As with most Manceras, it's a strong fragrance. But this one, the vanilla's, pretty thick, so that's why I don't really want to wear this one in the summer. I've waited for the fall. Yeah, you can pull this off in the summer. I would think more summer evenings, casual night out kind of thing. Daytime, be mindful. Depends on how cloyingly sweet it is on your skin, but it is a vanilla-based scent. Keep that in mind. So we'll wait till about the 10-minute mark to kind of dive into the split screen and go over the main topic today. But let's see who's doing what here in the chat. Climatic, always good to see. I see this was way earlier. This was at 1 o'clock. It was 4 hours ago he put this. I like to see you guys jump in the chat early. Adam, good to see you. Wearing Rare Carbon. Hat of the day is a white flex fit Renado's Mexican baseball team from my wife's hometown. White logo, red outline. The field of smellology. I appreciate that. So when that was filmed, those Clubbed In and We Flankers had just came out. I had just did a video like a couple days before I went to the UK on that. So I was super familiar. So it was real easy for me to pick up. Well, this is this, this is this, this is this. So I was just so familiar with them. It was so fresh in my memory that even on test, because I actually did test strips in my first impressions too. So I knew right away what they were. And it was kind of funny the way that worked out. But that was fun. That was another one of those videos to come out from my trip to the UK. I could believe they're only making 200 because I can't imagine them selling too many. Yeah, $8,200. We'll talk about it. Aventus Cologne. Hell yeah, that's a good one. Gary, good to see you. Beautiful, cold, crisp day here in Texas. So Scent of the Day is Dior Homme Intense, the old version, the original formula. Okay. I've got Dior Jules on. I've never smelled that one. Jared, good to see you. Texas, Alabama boy. What's going on, big dog? Yeah, we'll talk. That's the absurd that I was talking about. Ryan, good to see you. Did nothing my day off today. About to go spray something on the live. Good vibes. Joel, good to see you. Giancarlo, always a pleasure. Why Le Parfum, my favorite. Strong with you intensely. And Jacques Fath, Tempt d'Automne, and Nishane Karagos on the way. So you have a serious haul coming. Intensely's phenomenal. Every Jacques Fath fragrance is really good, as you know from the few you have, the few I have. Every single one of them has been really good. So sounds like a good haul to me, my man. Pure Excess, good to see you, sir. Neil, wearing Coco Loco. In the chat with 14 likes. We're doing good. Yeah, this was pre-stream, so this was before we went live. Perfum Addictos, good to see you, my man. Wearing Mancera's Santal Wood in the morning. Fan Your Flames X in the evening. I haven't tried any of their X flankers yet. I will at some point. I think Ani is going to be the one I go after first. I see they have like watery notes and stuff, so fresh Ani, count me in. Color me intrigued. I definitely want to check that one out first. Torino 23. So I know there's a few people that got it already. I'm not on the ins and outs with Xerjoff and haven't visited any perfumeries that, you know, have Xerjoff, so I haven't had an opportunity to smell it yet, but we're going to talk about it and look at the note breakdown. Citrine for Dan, Not the Man. Haven't caught alive in a while. Good to see everyone. Dark Cherry and Amber from Banana Republic. Mr. Gumbo, a.k.a. Hot Grease, one of the best names on YouTube. Good to see you, my man. Kevin, how are you? Tyler, always a pleasure. Noel, good to see you. Almost to 100K. Fingers crossed. We're getting there, guys. Fingers crossed. We're on the road to it. That's for sure. So for those of you just coming in, I see we're at about 100 people. Make sure to hit that thumbs up on the way in. Yeah, because we've got less than half likes to current viewers. So do me a quick favor. As fast as you can blink that eye, you can click that thumbs up for me if you don't mind. Essential Obsessions King Andy. That's a good one. We in this thing. Jared's back. F Le Parfum by Fragrance World. Another one of those really good designer clones from them. Parfums de Molly Layton. Hell yeah. Juan Ochoa, good to see you. Wearing Replica's Coffee Break. Good to see you, Kyler. Antonio, wearing Brooklyn Fragrance Lover from Alexandria Fragrances. May Carlos rest in peace. Blue Talisman, never tried that. Aqua de Joe Absolute, that's a great fragrance. CH Bad Boy Cobalt. Okay, let me scroll down a little bit. Let's find a good stopping point because we're about 3 minutes away from going ahead and dive into that split screen. Creed Absolute Aventus. Good to see you, AJ. Givenchy Pie Extreme. I've never smelled the Extreme. And Givenchy Pie, the original, man, I had to be 12, 13 years old maybe the last time I smelled that. It's been a long time. That's fair. New Sauvage in Creed, no way. Well, it's the same Sauvage, just in a Baccarat crystal bottle, which makes it extremely expensive and rare and limited and luxury item. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. But there's a new Creed. Yeah, 1849 Millisime. Pink Panther's wearing Ani. Excellent choice. Christian C. Woody Leather with Oud. Okay. Fuzzman's in the house. I can't complain. Wearing Black Afghano. Still never tried that one. I've heard it's kind of a cult classic at this point. That $8,000 bottle is going to look amazing on the shoe. Yeah, I'm not getting that. It's a 500 ml, so I'm sure it's quite large for being a Sauvage Elixir bottle. But yeah, I'm not getting that, man. Spectra Ghost and B612. Sounds like a good haul to me. Fahrenheit Le Parfum. That's a damn good fragrance. Grandmaster by Mind Games. I haven't tried anything from them just yet. Jason, good to see you. Wearing Original Vetiver. I know you're a big fan of that one. So 2 more minutes and we'll dive into the topic. I see we're starting to gather a pretty decent crowd here. Disir Toxic. That's a lovely fragrance. It's, guys, when you see that cannabis note, for those of you that haven't tried it, it does not smell like marijuana. Not like the opening on Bad Boy Le Parfum, for those of you that saw that haul video. It's not going to get you like that. It's more of an earthy green spice. A little bit of smokiness, a lot of black currant in the top. It's a beautiful fragrance. Most will argue that it's probably the best fragrance from them. And I would argue a little bit on that because Red Colorado is pretty good. I love Gin Tonic. Like, they have some really good stuff, but I totally see the argument for Disir Toxic. Let's see. Scroll down a little bit. Chanel L'Homme Sport Eau Extreme. Gentleman EDT for Justin. How you do? I'm Kellen. Did I miss something? Oh, Kellen's in here. Okay, what's going on, Kellen? Prada Amber Intense. I need to throw that one in the rotation. That's so good. That's so good. That's what won the vote for the member giveaway this month for the main prize for the designer tier. That ran away with the voting. Like, it wasn't even close. Evening, folks. Praline in Maple by Sense of Wood. Never tried that one, John. Jets and Giants leather. Oh, geez. The Giants, boy. Let's get this man the silver play button. Hit the subscribe button, folks. It's all he wants for Christmas. It is all I want for Christmas. That is legitimately all I want for Christmas is that silver play button plaque. Not going to sit here and act like I don't. It's so close I can damn near taste it. I absolutely, yeah, I really want that. I can't wait. I'm super excited. Like a little kid. Like, think back to getting that first game system when you were a kid for Christmas. Like, you asked for that NES, or depending on your age, it was the Super Nintendo or the Genesis, or it might have been a 64 or a PlayStation, whatever. Think back to that excitement. Can't wait. That's how I am. Like, it's because I'm on the cusp, guys. So I'm super excited about it. It's the milestone. It's the goal, right? Being a fragrance content creator, that is the goal. Because the goal, pretty unrealistic to think for the gold play button. I mean, it's only been one of us that have done it. I'm not saying in the future it can't be a thing, but The real goal is the silver one. There's only 2 milestones on YouTube, and it's the gold and the silver. And I just, man, that's going to be an interesting live stream. Decided to test a bunch of stuff while I put the furniture together. Acento Overdose. So I've never tried that one. I have regular Acento, and regular Acento is beautiful. Hyacinth, iris, pineapple, clean musk. Very elegant, classy fragrance. Not too powdery. The musk and the fruitiness kind of balance it out really well. It's a great fragrance. I can only imagine what the Overdose flanker's like. All right, scrolling down. Let's find a good spot to stop because we're 11 minutes in. It's time to get to this split screen. Let's see. I was thinking getting Xerjoff Pour Homme on a discontinued fragrance site. I've never looked into that one. Let me find a good spot. I see. We'll stop right here on Randy. What's good, Ross in chat? Wearing 1 million lucky tonight. We'll be in and out. Just wanted to say, hey, well, I sure appreciate you, my man, because we're going to go ahead and dive into this. Let's go ahead and jump into the split screen. So all this information will be on ifragranceofficial.com. ifragranceofficial, your friend and my friend in this community. They're usually pretty quick to, most of the time, be the first people to break news when it comes to new release announcements. They try not to rub brands the wrong way and do it too early because they definitely have the inside scoop most of the time. So there's an article on Torino 23, but let's go ahead and scroll down to the new perfume section. I know John Harper did an article on Aurum, which, you know, I've already done a review on Aurum. We won't mess with that today, but let's start with Torino 23. Let's look into this. I haven't looked at anything yet. Like I knew I wanted to do this video, so I waited to do it with you guys. So I know there's people that have it already. Hell, somebody in the chat's wearing it already. So official silver sponsor of the Nido ATP Finals celebrates an accelerated atmosphere of the ATP Finals with a new perfume for each year of the Nido ATP Finals in Turin, Xerjoff's hometown. From November 12th, it will be available for purchase. So it launched yesterday on Sunday. Finals have been held from 21 to 25, 15th host city. I want to know about this fragrance. Let's look at this note breakdown. Bergamot, rose, cardamom, neroli, jasmine, tuberose, cashmere wood, amber, musk. So it's a heavily floral fragrance. They're classifying it as an amber floral. I wonder what kind of role this cardamom plays, because cashmere wood's a very soft wood. It's a sensual feel. Great wood, you know, man-made chemical. Like cashmere wood's not real. As far as I know, it's a man-made synthetic aroma chemical, but it makes for a soft, sensual, woodsy note. So that can absolutely be used in more feminine-leaning fragrances without really giving it a masculine tone. It's not like how cedar wood can come across, where that can kind of give a masculine edge when it's kind of a sharp cedar. But here, I mean, if that's just a clean musk with cashmere wood, the floral dominance here of, you know, creamy white floral, fresh white floral, soapy white floral, it's just, that's what you have across the mid here. Neroli's typically pretty soapy. Jasmine comes across on the fresher side of things, that white flower smell. And tuberose is traditionally a pretty creamy white floral. Plus you have rose, which I would assume is more of a Turkish fresh rose based on this pyramid. So I have a feeling this is a pretty feminine leaning fragrance. Which isn't necessarily a turnoff. They're straight up marketed for women's fragrances that I enjoy. So the gentleman that's wearing it, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the chat with everybody. What do you think? Is it heavily floral? Is the note pyramid a little deceiving for how it actually comes across? Like, is there a lot of cardamom and cashmere and amber here with a nice, you know, soft, powdery floral tone? Is it creamy floral? I definitely want to get my nose on this one. I still haven't tried 21 though. So I know there's a lot of hype behind Torino 21. Never tried 22 either. So shame on me. I need to dive into these a bit more. So apparently the citrus stands out pretty well according to the olfactive pyramid here. So I'm curious. Torino 23 awakens the senses with a fresh hit of bergamot, which settles into delicate hues of rose and cardamom combined in the top notes. At the heart, fusion of neroli and jasmine dance with the rich and heady tones of tuberose, it's probably a thick and creamy tuberose, as the whole composition closes to a comforting blend of cashmere wood, amber, and musk at the base. A sumptuous masterpiece that echoes the true sense of tradition and elegance. This one, I think this one could be iffy. I'm sure it's a really well-blended, well-composed fragrance. I mean, it's Xerjoff. They do such phenomenal work in perfumery. But I don't know. This one, the note breakdown here screams flower bomb. And I don't mean Victor and Rolf flower bomb. I mean just a flowery bomb, very, very girly, feminine leaning fragrance. But again, I could be wrong. On skin, you might get more of a cardamom and cashmere wood, amber musk with supportive rolls of these heavy white florals in the mid. So I'd be quite curious to sample it first. This is not a safe blind buy fragrance for me at all. Torino 21 would be. I've seen that no breakdown. I think I'd be totally fine blind buying that. This is a little bit more of an iffy note pyramid where I think personally I would have to sample it first. I mean, I would encourage everyone to sample it just because I blind buy like stuff all the time. My motto's I blind buy so you don't have to, because I'm going to talk about it in video anyway. Whereas that's just, ooh, that could be a bad buy for me. I don't know. I like florals, but there's a limit. There's a line to liking everything. Like I love incense, but there's a line for that. I like tobacco. There's a line for that too. So let's get back to the chat before we dive into the next one. Oh, you can get it cheaper than that. Oh yeah, you can get it cheaper than that, my man. Where's it at? Here we go. I think it's like 10 something on Fragrance Buy right now. Might be for a 50 ml though. Let me see. So 50 ml is 107. 100 ml is 161.54. But you got to factor in shipping. Shipping is going to be $15 if you don't have any points to get free shipping. Or if you just plan on getting the one fragrance and you don't have any points, you'll pay $15. So it'll balance out. So if you don't have any points to get the free shipping option with Fragrance Buy, go this route because it's going to cost about the same. But with Fragrance Buy, you can get it for $17 less if you have a free shipping. Enough points for that. It's just like 100 points for the rewards program. So you could get it cheaper and you just pay taxes like you would any other, just like you're going to pay wherever this is. So keep that in mind. If you are interested in doing it through there, hold on one sec. If you are going to go to Fragrance Buy, if you would like to show a little support for the channel, I'm going to drop a link in the chat for you. That is an affiliate link I do make a small commission off of. Obviously, that is neither here nor there and up to you. Obviously, do what is best for you in your situation. Like I said, if you have the points to get free shipping, go the cheaper route. But if not, this is probably just the same, and you just do it there, you know. But it's a great fragrance. Oh, man, the nostalgia of getting PS1 and N64. That's what I'm saying. That's the kind of excitement I have going on right now. White floral with pine and fruit. Nuclear performance. So it sounds like they changed it a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, so it's just a limited edition bottle was what I saw. It's just a Cartier limited edition. I mean, we'll take a look at it. Let's scroll up. I mean, we got time. We're early in the stream. We'll take a look at all that cool stuff. So yeah, according to this, it just says Pacha de Cartier Parfum limited edition. So it's probably the same notes. Well, like I said, we'll double back and check it out. We'll actually look at it next before we get into the Creed and the Sauvage Elixir overpriced bottle. Ross, hope you're good, man. Wearing accidental layering of ombre leather parfum and Dior original, but I'm digging it. I mean, I highly doubt there's really too many doesn't smell good layering options. You know, I think that'd be kind of far-fetched. No worries, boss. Glad you're able to make it. Good to see you, my man. 69 likes. So we're getting there, Kyler. Little by little. About half. About half. I feel like people do it on purpose because I ask. You know? Any special episode when you hit the... Well, we're going to definitely do it. I'm going to open that package on a live stream. I got a bunch of stuff I'm planning on doing to celebrate the milestone. Like there's things in the works that I'm going to do. Can't talk about them now. We're not there yet, but there's a bunch of stuff we're going to do to celebrate 100K because that's the big milestone, you know. And before the plaque even gets it, because according to the gentleman I spoke to last week that has long had his plaque, takes close to a couple of weeks, maybe close to a month to get the plaque. So fingers crossed in the next couple of weeks I can get it and get it before Christmas. That would just be amazing. That's what I'm hoping for. But long before that, I'll do some announcements on some special stuff we're going to do to celebrate. Here we go. Pyramid's a little deceiving, not nearly as floral as you'd think. That's why I asked. That's why I asked you, Bill. For me, the bergamot is still loud and the citruses push forward, and the cardamom is the most noticeable change from 21 and 22. Okay, so the floral dominance in the pyramid's a little deceptive, is what you're saying. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing for the fellas, because there's, a lot of us in this chat that are really into fragrances. We like the florals. You learn to enjoy the florals because eventually you run out of originality with the heavily masculine man's man scent profiles, and you want to explore more. Hence fragrances like this. But there's still that line, like I was talking about, where it's just too girly, and that looked like it could have been one of those fragrances. But I appreciate you weighing in, Bill. Thinking Diamant because it's on discount here. I mean, that comes down to you. If you're debating on keeping it or not, that means you don't love it. If it's even an option to get rid of it, you don't love it. So I think that's your answer. If you feel like you could part with it so easily, maybe that's the answer. This is the time of year I usually get Amouage, Black Friday. I mean, yeah, there's going to be some deals going on, guys. And I'd say unisex right down the middle. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you for letting us know. Yeah, I need to try all three. I want to check out 21 first. It seems to be the one. Hey, yeah, Ross, thank you. I've got more than enough fragrances. I'm approaching 90 bottles to the 50 ml sheet. Well, there you go. It's like 107. It's 107, man. Yeah. 50 ml goes a long way. Like that 100 ml I got, I don't know if I'll ever go through it, Like when I get these big bottles, lifetime supply. I just have so many. So yeah, I appreciate it. If you are indeed going to use the link, I sure appreciate it. I'm glad I could point you in the direction, my man. All right. Couldn't believe the new Dior bottle was real. Saw a post from Justin and busted out laughing. Yeah, I saw his post about that too, with the paying for. And he's like, if you have to finance this, don't do it. He's right, though. I personally haven't tried Diamant, Boz. Maybe somebody in the chat could let you know. I get you a decant of Torino 21. It's Jason, I might take you up on that. I've gotten a lot better at taking up people on these offers, because it's like I'm gonna talk about it with you guys, and if you're adamant about it, sure. But we talk. Hell, we got a back and forth on IG going as it is, so we'll talk about it later. I appreciate the offer. I might take you up on that, because I've been needing to try it. That and Tony Iommi Monkey Special. Jared's supposed to be sending a decant my way for that one. Just picked up Monkey Omen from Making Sense, and I'm a big fan. Robert, great to see you, my man. I hope you're doing well. Guys, this man is what dedication looks like. If you follow him on IG, you see him out running at 4 a.m, several miles, pretty much every day, not counting his weight training and stuff like that. That man is he is a runner. This will be funny. He'll appreciate this. This is fragrance review David Goggins right here. That's kind of how Robert is. I view Robert in the same light, and he posts a lot of David Goggins stuff. So he's laughing right now that he hears me say that shit. Getting Reflection Man, Jubilation 25, and some other samples coming in the hall today. So I'm hyped. Bet that's going to be good. Here we go. Jumpman 23 up high. What a name. Dag Nabbit. It smells great in the chat. Scent of the day, Cuba Prestige Black. What a scent choice. What a scent choice. I'm buying on my next paycheck with the discount. Shipping's $46. But yeah, for nine 2 ml samples, that's not bad at all. I don't do any layering, my man. I get asked all the time. I will tell you an incredible sillage that we had last night. So yesterday was my 13-year anniversary, and the wife had a specific steakhouse she wanted to go eat at, and it wasn't planned. She wore rosé, and I wore Aurum. And I was telling George earlier today, like, maybe I should tell people to check that out, because our waitress literally said, I don't know who's wearing what, but I got to tell y'all are the best smelling table I've had all night. So that was great. We had a good laugh about that. But yeah, so because rosé is strong, Aurum's strong. She had 4 or 5 sprays on. I had 4 sprays of Aurum. Our table was just this big scent cloud of rosé and Aurum. I'm not saying one of us was layering, but together it was this mixed sillage of just a scent profile that makes sense. Not making sense like Dinsmore, but makes sense. So any of you that have Orme and Rosé, I don't know directly on one person how that layers, but together as a couple at a dinner table, it sure smelled really good because we could definitely smell each other. I could smell me and her. She could smell me and her. You should have smelled in this room when she walked in here. I just sprayed Orme and Rosé hit me as soon as she walked. I said, "Ooh, you're wearing Rosé." So just throwing that out there. On G Fragrance, I'm not familiar with G Fragrance. It's also on discount here. People tell me it's not as good as the original. But I mean, even if it's from what I understand, the newer batches are still like 9-10 hour performers. So, okay, let's say the old batches were like 24 hours longevity if you didn't take a shower, and which means it's a little bit deeper. But if it's the same formula, same scent profile, and you still get 10 hours, is it really a problem? Because I heard the same things about Journeyman and Epic Man and Reflection Man, because I got newer formulas of those, and they're all beasts on me. I don't have old bottles of those. I don't have any old bottle armoires. All of my stuff's newer. And they're all great performers. They're all beasts. So take that with a grain of salt, Boz. It's one of those try it for yourself kind of things. You'll probably put 2 or 3 sprays on and be like, oh my God, what are they talking about? That's probably what would happen. Sean Connolly with the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Tell Randy he's got to try Enclave. Love the mint in it. So speaking of Enclave, that is what won the Hall of Fame tier for the member giveaway for this month. So putting that order in this weekend or beginning of next week, something like that, because there's some other things I want to get to. I'm gonna get to that order at some point. I've got everything in the cart. I just need to pull the trigger and make the order. But yeah, Prada Amber Intense and Enclave are the 2 main prizes right there. It's funny that you bring up Enclave. But Randy, you need to try Enclave. The mint's amazing. And incense. Amouage always has some good olibanum, and the olibanum oil they use is really good. Thank you for the super chat. So let's get into another one. I'm gonna stop right here on Eric, and let's dive into some more. Arabian Oud Night. Okay. Wow, right away it's got a big old ad. Okay, so real quick, let's dive into this Pacha de Cartier Parfum limited edition bottle. Bottle does look cool, but I'm assuming it's just the Parfum with a limited edition bottle. A new perfume opus with an intense deep signature. So it might be warmth of sandalwood, amber. So it's magnified in a limited edition bottle. Okay, so it's the same fragrance. They're just showing sandalwood and amber. But let's see, inspired by the Cartier archives. Limited edition is refillable. So this, just based on that, it's just a limited bottle of the Parfum. So if you can get it for a good price or anywhere around what that's a small picture. Anywhere around what the Parfum goes for, then if you like that bottle more, go for that bottle. But apparently it's just a limited bottle. There we go. That's a better picture. It's just a limited edition bottle for the already released Parfum, which is phenomenal. Boozy, ambery sandalwood. Really good. Really, really good. Let's see. Let's pick another fragrance, shall we? Let's go ahead and talk about this ridiculousness. We keep hinting to it. So look, I'll be straight with you guys. If I won the lottery and I had $100 million sitting around, sure, I'd buy a bottle and show it on camera and we talk about it. And I'd never, ever go through it because it's a 500 milliliter bottle of Sauvage Elixir. So it's outrageous. It's a ludicrous creation. It's outrageous, but it's for those with the most expendable and disposable of incomes to go after this. I mean, I'm sure it's gorgeous in hand. Look how huge the cap is in hand right here. I'm not going to play a copyrighted video or anything, but I mean, it looks splendid. It does. It looks gorgeous, but it's ridiculous. It's $8,200. $8,200, guys. Like, I don't even need to read all of that because it's the same fragrance. It's Sauvage Elixir, which is phenomenal. Sauvage Elixir is a phenomenal release. Dior did great with that. They really pushed the envelope on getting people to do their Elixir flankers. I don't remember if they were the very first Elixir, but if not, they were one of, and they're the ones that really propelled the trend, really kicked this trend going to where it is now. But man, 500 ml Baccarat crystal. So they are expensive. So some of you heard me say the other day. So George has showed it a few times. Back in like 99, 98, something, maybe even 2000. The original Zaharoff Parfum, the women's fragrance, they did limited edition Baccarat bottles. It was a pure perfume oil, 30 ml. They were numbered 1 through 500. I forgot which number bottle he's got at the office. But yeah, they're crazy expensive. George did a limited edition Zaharoff Parfum Baccarat bottle 20 or so years, 24, 20, 23 to 25 years ago, somewhere around there. So yeah, it's crazy expensive. I don't think it was $8,200, but it was, several $100s back then. Might even been more than that. He would have to reiterate. I don't remember what the price point was, but yeah, that's a thing to do these limited editions because it's luxury goods. That's what this is. It's not marketed for all of us. It's marketed for, the upper echelon of income that, just blow money on shit just to say they have it, basically, because that's kind of what this is. Because if you really like Sauvage Elixir, just buy the 100 ml. If you like it that much and want the bigger bottle, do you really need the Baccarat Crystal 500 ml limited edition? That's, like I said, that's for upper echelon income earners to spend money on. So now that craziness is out of the way, let's talk about something else that might be a little bit more interesting. And to me, I mean, we could talk about Jubilation 40, right? We were just talking about Jubilation 25 a minute ago. Now, this is going to sound blasphemous to some of you, but I've only smelled Jubilation 25 once. And it was part of a collaboration video where I got sent a 10 ml decant of that. And I forgot what the other fragrance was. And I was giving away winner's choice of the decants. And that was what was chosen. So in that video was the only time I've ever smelled Jubilation 25 because the winner chose the decant of Jubilation 25. So off it went, I remember like this honeyed blackberry chypre kind of thing going on. It smelled really good from what I remember of it. It was one time. It's been like 2.5, 3 years since that happened. So it would be a shame for me to jump to the 40 when I don't really have enough experience with the 25, with Jubilation 25. But blackberry, blackcurrant, rosemary, labdanum, orange, Davana. So a lot of sweet and fruity at the top. I don't know how much that labdanum and rosemary play a role here, but Scotch broom, frankincense, cinnamon clove, Bay St. Thomas, I don't know what the hell that is, rose, celery seeds, patchouli, cistus, opanox, myrrh, okay, it's getting better and better, cedarwood, guyakwood, musk, moss, ambergris, and oud. This note breakdown does look tantalizing. It looks really good. It's a hell of a note breakdown, guys. This is worth a sample because I got to tell you, Reflection 45 is a much more woodsy, earthy take, very woodsy from the original. It's redundant to Reflection Man, but not super. Like if you love Reflection Man, it's worth having both, I think. Whereas that might be the case here. Jubilation 25 has been on the bucket list for a long time now. I just haven't gotten around to it. Like I've been wanting to get Lyric Man before getting this because I ran out of Lyric Man, my decant, years ago. I had a big decant of that. It was like 8 ml or 10 ml, something like that. This looks interesting, though, right? Any Jubilation 25 advocates here? Because I know this is a pretty similar note breakdown. I don't know exactly what differences are here as far as the pyramid, but I know there are some. But I know blackberry is a mainstay in the formula for the regular version, opanox, things like that. So I don't know. What are they calling it here? Woody chypre. So there you go. Because I remember getting a lot of oak moss from Jubilation 25. That's why I mentioned kind of this mossy chypre smell, fruity, honey-like sweetness. I bet this is good. I'm not going to say necessarily worth the money because these extracts that they do are crazy expensive, but getting the little discovery kits they do is the way to go, I think. This is an olfactive experience that I definitely want to have, and I'd love to do a side-by-side with Jubilation 25 to see just how different they are from one another and just how much heavier and more robust this is versus Jubilation 25. So I actually have a little bit of excitement here with this particular release. I think when Amouage does just about anything, it's usually really well done. I mean, they do phenomenal work. Who perfumed this? Did Cecile Zarokian do this? Because I expect perfection from her at this point. Where's the perfumer? Doesn't say perfumed by whom anywhere, does it? Did y'all see anything? I sure didn't. I don't see the perfumer's name, so I may have to look elsewhere. I don't know. Yeah, I don't see who perfumed it, but I expect greatness here. I just do. So this is one that I'm definitely going to get a decant of, and I'll probably go ahead and re-up on a decant of Jubilation 25 so I can do a side-by-side, and we'll probably do it here live. I'm not saying it's going to happen in a week, but it's something I'd like to do in the very near future, as soon as it's readily available for me to get a decant of this. But I think this is a good release. I think it's going to be a really good release. I think you're going to hear a lot of hype about it, people really digging it. Now let's get into one of the main events that were advertised here. Millisime 1849, the 2023 version. So I've never smelled, I believe this is a re-release. I've never smelled the old one, if it is indeed a re-release. Eau de Parfum expertly blends energetic Calabrian bergamot with floral notes of jasmine and rose, adding a woody aromatic base of cedar and incense for greater depth and endurance. This full-bodied fragrance stands in a tall matte bottle modeled after the iconic Creed hip flask. So I believe there's a previous release for this. So let's see, because I've never smelled it, if so, because I believe 1849 Millisime has been around a long time. Like, that's an older fragrance from them. Lemon, grapefruit, bergamot, so plenty of zest and citrus. Lang-a-lang, iris, jasmine, and rose. Heavy floral heart. Cedar, incense, thyme, and laurel. Okay. And nothing specific here with the pyramid. Okay. This is interesting, though. It's one I'd like to check out. I don't think it's a must-try for me. Love the bottle. Love the color scheme. Matte forest green and gold. But definitely worth a sample. I think this is more of a classic style fragrance. I just never tried the previous version of it. Let's see. What else we got here? So Black Noir from Mancera. Let's take a look at that, shall we? Look at that bottle. Stepping their game up a little bit with the design. I want to look at this note breakdown. Pink pepper and black leather. Okay, you had me at hello with this top note. Okay, Cambodian oud patchouli leaves, Cuban tobacco leaves, Polynesian tire flower, tonka beans and Brazilian vanilla pods, ambergris, Haitian vetiver roots. Okay, then. Yes, please. Doesn't that sound good? Pink pepper, black leather. Ooh, so this pink pepper, it's probably going to be kind of that vibrant, sweet, aromatic type of pink pepper. Typically, their pink peppers aren't all that spicy that they use. Cambodian oud. So that's probably the same Cambodian oud oil that is in Intense Drapoise. So to have a slight funk sweetness. Patchouli, Cuban tobacco leaves. So I would think a dry tobacco smell. Tonka beans, Brazilian vanilla pods. So I have no idea if that means sweet and powdery or just sweet. Could be sweet and creamy. I don't know. I'm thinking tonka beans and vanilla pods. I'm thinking powdery vanilla. With a black leather accord, this could be phenomenal, guys. Because Mancera's been coming with the heat with their releases. Like, they have the coffee fragrance that we talked about recently. I still want to get that. That looks like that's going to be phenomenal. But this, this spicy and woody. Yeah, that I believe. Let's read this. Mancera's Black Noir is an emotional journey across continents and scented traditions, capturing the imagination of anyone privileged to smell it. The fragrance opens with a symphony of pink pepper, a captivating top note that immediately captures attention. Black leather contrasting with her bold slide mixes with pink pepper, creating an intriguing promise of adventure. This combination proves to be an irresistible invitation to an olfactive journey. The heart reveals its richness and sensual embrace of cultures and passion, where Cambodian oud, patchouli leaves, Cuban tobacco leaves, and Polynesian tire flower intertwine in a sensual embrace, spending an aura of irresistible desire. Spreading. As the sun sinks below the horizon, Black Noir reveals its final essence. Tonka beans and vanilla pods from Brazil mixed with ambergris and Haitian vetiver roots, creating an olfactory tail that persists for a long time on skin. It's an enveloping hug, an indelible memory. Black Noir by Mancera is a fragrance that enchants and seduces an olfactory poetry destined to last forever. Regardless of the write-up, the note breakdown looks badass. I think this would be a great fragrance. Some good stuff being announced here. What do you guys think? Let me talk to you guys in the chat for a little bit because we looked at a few fragrances here. I'm sure I'm very behind on this chat. They come in 100 ml, but for niche and designers, yeah, I typically go after the smaller bottles with niche. Mostly designers lately too. I've been kind of going after that. My man. Ooh, it's probably going to make the top 10. Like I said, I really have to reevaluate when we get into December because that's when it's time to really pull all of the designer 2023 releases to the side. And now it's time to whittle it down to 10 because I'm not going to do 15, though I could. It was a good year for designers. I'm going to whittle it down to 10, and there's going to be some stuff that's going to get left off that's going to surprise you guys. It's probably going to surprise me even. But that's going to be the hard part is the elimination process because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the same thing with niche. I'm going to do an overall. I'll do one for Middle Eastern because we had so many great Middle Eastern options this year as far as releases. I'll do that as well. And I'll do best cheap pickups. Because I do my best of annually in December for several different categories. And that's got a real good shot at making the top 10. I'm pretty sure it will because I quite like it. It's very nice. I think it's a better release than Royal. And I'm a fan of Royal. Like the 1 Million line, they put out good stuff. They really do. Thank you, Zeus. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Honor and Glory, I'm assuming. So you got to like pineapple upside down cake because kind of look at it like this. You get the opening of Hachivat and the dry down of Ani. That's how I want to say Lydia's the first person to tell me that before I had it. And she sent me a decant. I was like, holy shit, she's totally right. It smells like pineapple upside down cake. It's got turmeric. It's spicy and woodsy, a lot of vanilla and pineapple. Great performer too. Great performer. I've never even heard of that fragrance, honestly. Rosé and orange together would be great layering. Honey and rose goes well together. It smelled phenomenal. Except for Diamant. Oh, well, there you go, Boz. I don't know if you're still here. According to Sean, doesn't perform too well for him. Probably cinnamon. I like a good cinnamon note. It works well in fresher fragrances, warm, heavy fragrances. Probably cinnamon. I would say it's probably my favorite spice note. Good to see you, Marty. Spice Bomb Infrared EDP. That's still my #1 designer release of the year. That's a clear cut. I'm telling you guys now. That's because I'll probably rank them. I may not rank them. Just know that that's my favorite. That's my personal favorite. Retails 1,000. I thought it was like 8,200. Or is just a regular 500 ml 1,000. Johnny Depp. He could probably get as many of them as he wants. There you go. Yeah. So I'm pretty far behind. I'm going to skip around a little bit, guys. Now that I see y'all are talking about Sauvage Elixir. Uh-oh. Yeah. Shout outs to EQ. I haven't talked to him in a little while. Shout outs to my guy. I know he's been busy. It's my kind of friend. Doesn't it look good, though? If it's like a powdery black leather with some spice, that's going to be great. Mikey, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, same. I'm here for the Manceras. I can't imagine them not keeping it long term, but who knows? Is this in the realm of Noir Extreme Parfum? Are you talking about Pacha de Cartier Parfum? Because I haven't smelled Noir Extreme Parfum. I know the scent profile with Noir Extreme, and that's more of a spicy, sweet, dessert-like fragrance. Which Pacha de Cartier Parfum, not a sweet fragrance. That's more of a traditional masculine with some booze. It's a benzoin wood fragrance, sandalwood fragrance, a little bit of bay leaf, gives it this herbal feel. And a nice like whiskey type of smell. Very much like a boozy fougere, more so than a woody aromatic, if that's what you're referring to. I better get my samples from Sin Explore, guys. Prada Rosa Ocean. EDP smells amazing. Yeah, smoky vanilla, basically. It's good stuff. Smelling it at Sephora right now. So you're watching us live while you're at Sephora sniffing. Kudos to you, my man. I appreciate that. Hugo Boss now, getting ready for work. Well, I appreciate you coming to stop in. Well, it's not my birthday. My birthday is not till January, Joel. My anniversary was yesterday. Started saying I love your videos, and I know I'm buying colognes. I know to buying colognes, I wanna know what is the difference. I'm assuming from Dior Homme and Dior Homme Intense. Is it supposed to be stronger if it says Intense? So current versions of Dior Homme smell nothing like Dior Homme Intense, because Dior Homme, what came out in 2020 and is on the market now, is a soft wood fragrance. It's a woody aromatic. The old version of Dior Homme was an iris-based fragrance, which Dior Homme Intense is an intense version of the old formula. It's basically sweet iris. Have you ever, you know what lipstick smells like? It's kind of what it gets compared to. So Dior Homme Intense smells like lipstick and sweetness. It's kind of the easiest way I can put it for you. It's a feminine leaning, like a metrosexual type of men's fragrance. Because iris can be like that sometimes, especially these fantasy iris notes, because that's not real iris. It's a designer level iris, so super powdery and has that waxiness that associates to lipstick, makeup, kind of that smell. So if you're asking this question, it is the furthest thing in the world from a safe blind buy for you, my friend. I would absolutely sample first. Do not blind buy that under any circumstance, since this was your question. I hope this helps. Definitely get out and try it for yourself. It may turn you off completely, my man, or you may absolutely love it. I love it. Scott, good to see you. Gucci Guilty Black. I still haven't tried that one yet. The original and that one. I will not be there. No, sir. No, sir. I got too much travel going on. I got to prioritize when it comes to my travel list. Like this time of year is not good for extracurricular stuff like that. It's more friends and family stuff this time of year for me. Like I'm going to Louisiana this weekend. And then next week I'll be in Louisiana again. My brother was just here this past week. I'll be, where am I going? Of course, I got at least two more travel rounds in December. As far as I know, 2 for sure. I think that's it for the rest of the year, but a lot of travel for me personally this time of year. So like spending $1,000 to go get a hotel in New York to go to the event, you know what I mean? Like it's not feasible to spend that kind of money to go do that right now when I'm spending a lot of money on all this other travel. So it's just not going to happen. I don't know if I'll ever get to go because the timing's terrible. Like if he wants to do it in the spring, better chance of me going, you know. Late fall into early winter, that's when I do most of my traveling with family. So no, you don't. There's no fragrance number requirement to do that. You just do it. Just do it. You just start talking about fragrances. Share your passion. Yeah, you don't have to have a certain size collection or anything like that. The more experience you can have, the better. Obviously, the more you can season your nose, the more you can detect different things and the way accords come across with certain things, and that just comes with experience over time. The more you smell, the better your nose will get over time. Just constantly sniffing different things and trying different fragrances and just olfactive experiences in general. That's what it comes down to. It's not just about having a bunch of fragrances, really. It's just how well can you articulate your thoughts. And how passionate are you about it? That's the main things you need to look at, you know. And if you feel good about the answers to those questions, start making content, you know, press record and just start. IG, but today's scent of the day was Evening Mystique. Splendid work, man. It was a great wear today. Well, Noel, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for letting me know. He's supposed to. Yeah. Yeah. We've been talking about that. They're going to be coming to a couple of hours away. Like we're going to meet somewhere in the middle. He's going to be in the Tampa area. And then I forgot where else. Like he's going to be in 2 different spots in Florida. And Tampa's, several hours away from me. But, when's the next time I'll get to see Chad? Chad lives in freaking Canada. I live in Florida. So we'll find, so I'll get a hotel somewhere. We'll find a, decent point, and I'll book a hotel the night before. I'll jump on my bike and zip down there as long as there's good weather, and spend, that day on into the next day with Chad, film some content, hang out, have some meals and stuff like that. So yeah, that we are planning that actually. Funny that you say that. No, I typically stick with my Degree Cool Rush. I've been wearing that since I was a teenager. I just rock with that, man. It's an antiperspirant and deodorant. Stops the sweat and the funk. Sure, it's not the most natural option, but it's never irritated my skin and it just works. So I stick with, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't switch it up. Over the weekend, I got my nose on Memo Voodoo at Marshall's. Man, it's so good. Never heard of that one. What's up, Oos? What's going on, man? Man, ever since I wore that Jay Uso shirt, that's how Mitch always calls me Oos now. I love it. Good to see you, Mitch. Wearing Lomo Team. It's a damn good fragrance. Have you ever heard of Parfum d'Empire brand? They look, they have interesting fragrances. No, this is the first time hearing of them. You're the first one to ever mention that to me, Joel. Wonder if that's going to be the realm of Tom Ford Noir. Oh, that one. Okay. I don't see it being loaded. I mean, it does have the Tonka Bean vanilla pod thing. It could be. It could be. I hope it's not super sweet because it's so promising looking with oud and patchouli and the pink pepper black leather combo. Like, sure, sweet supportively, but not like dries down to vanilla. Like they've got too many fragrances to do that. Dries down to vanilla. I mean, hell, I got a tester of Royal Vanilla in this pile for the next haul. That I mean, for $49 for a 4-ounce Mancera, I'll buy any 4-ounce Mancera for $49. Any of them, blindly. It's such a steal. I was like, it's a vanilla fragrance. I like vanilla fragrances, but they have so many of them. So I'm sure it's not going to be anything super special. So they're totally different. One's not better than the other because I would not wear either of them in the same situation as the other, or even in the same season as the other. So that's the thing. Because 9 a.m. I thought it was 9 p.m. So I've never tried 9 a.m. 9 a.m. dive. I could see that being in the same vein as Hawas Ice. My apologies. I thought I saw 9 p.m. I just glanced. My bad. 9 a.m. dive and Hawas Ice. I think I would lean to 9 a.m. dive. It's a little bit more interesting, but it's by narrow margin here. Hawas Ice lasts longer. I know that factors in a lot for a lot of people. Hawas Ice is longer lasting. It could be a different answer every day of the week. They're kind of what and what without smelling exactly the same. Those definitely do the same job. It just comes down to which sounds better to you, really, because you're going to have to blind buy those. That's cheapest, similar to Strong With You. CR7 Game On from Cristiano Ronaldo. It's a slightly more fruity Strong With You. It's like $30 for 100 ml. If you get the 50 ml, it's like $20 online. CR7 Game On. Yep. King of the Super Chat has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, Volcanus is here wearing Gentleman Reserve Privé from Givenchy. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much for the donation and Super Chat. Always appreciated. Well, I don't know if I get Ja, but I've been working on Angel. It's funny that you say that. I've been working on Angel. I've given him a couple of days off. We haven't talked in a few days, but I'm working on Angel. I'm gonna get him on here eventually. It'll probably be sometime next month. It's kind of short notice right now because I know he's a busy man. He's got his hands in a lot. He's always doing stuff with jewelry and on top of always putting out fragrance content. And Angel's busy. I get it. I'm busy. I'm not as busy as Angel, I don't think, because he's got 2 very successful channels at this point. Hell, his jewelry channel, I would argue, might be a little more successful than his fragrance channel. It blew up. It grew so much faster, But shout outs to my guy. That is my guy. We will do something. We will do a live stream at some point. I'm thinking maybe next month sometime. I just got to work on him. I got maybes over and over. So, And then when I fussed him about it being a no, called him out on one of his IG live streams. He's like, I didn't say no. I said maybe. Don't you tell people. I said I didn't say no. So I'm busting his balls and giving him a hard time. I'm gonna work on him. I'm definitely gonna work on him. So let's hold right there. Let's see if there's any other ones we should talk about real quick before we just go back to just chatting. Let's see what else we got. Is there anything else? I mean, we've already talked about Birth of Venus here. That doesn't really interest me. I've got a full review on Aurum. We were just talking about Aurum a minute ago. So I guess that's pretty much it for the split screen with ifragrance. If you're not following ifragrance on IG, you really should be. It's at ifragrance. Easy enough. ifragranceofficial.com for the website. Links down in the chat. Friends of the channel, been supporting them since they became a website. When they were just an IG profile before they even had the website. It's a shame I can't afford a bottle, but I'm very thankful I got to smell it regardless. Would absolutely jump on it if I could. Well, man, the advice I'll give here is buy less cheapies for a couple of weeks, and you can get a bottle of Evening Mystique. Just throwing it out there. If not, I'm glad you got to try it and that you do indeed like it. But that's the advice I always give people. They're like, oh, I can't afford it. It's too much. But how many cheapies did you buy in the last month? Keep that in mind. We can always cut back on one thing to do another. So keep that in mind. Not saying you need to, just being the voice of reason, not just because it's my fragrance, just in general. I've said this to people before in these live streams when they've said similar things like, well, you could if you really wanted to. You got to cut back somewhere. You got to take that piece of the pie and move it, So, but I know you have a wedding coming up, so no frivolous spending for you. No frivolous spending for you, Noel. You got a wedding coming up. So that's the coffee fragrance I was mentioned earlier that I absolutely want to try. We looked at it in one of these live streams just like this, split screen with ifragrance not long ago, several weeks ago. But I absolutely want to check that one out. Emonot? I don't know what that means. I don't know either. Me Fabulous Yuzu smells like hair shampoo. It's really good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I guess that's fair. I can see where you come. I get too much vanilla for shampoo, though. Like, I would think something more like, not Midnight Gold. Which one am I thinking? It might be Midnight Gold. Be more of a shampoo smell than this, but not even that one. I guess I can kind of see where you're coming from, but not so much for me. Well, that depends. You live in a hot ass climate, then no. If you live in a super high heat climate full of humidity, intense ain't gonna be the answer, my man. Intense is more animalistic, warm, spicy, woodsy, much more leather. It's intense. It's a true intense flanker, and it's super strong. It's 40%. You'll go nose blind to it and think it's weak. And 10 hours later, it'll hit you like you just sprayed it. It's the same sprays from 10 hours ago. So keep that in mind. It depends on your situation, which is better. That's what it comes down to. No shit. No shit. No wonder you keep calling me Oos and you got so excited that I was wearing Jay's shirt. That's your family. No shit. Small world. That's good to know, Mitch. That's good to know. That's hilarious. Small ass world. You probably like that. Oh, I love Vetiver Sensual. I got a 60 ml of it. I just haven't worn it in a long time. Nice and citric, a little fruity, fresh woodsy vetiver, slightly smoky, not all that earthy. Super versatile fragrance. Yeah, hell yeah. I knew Joel was going to chime in. Joel's a big fan of that one. If it came down to the wire, I'd be split to get Second Soul or even Mystique. Couldn't even bear the temptation of both. And yes, sir, you said exactly right. No frivolous spending. Get yourself a really nice fragrance for your special day when it gets closer. Do that. And it doesn't even have to be either one of those. Just you're saving for a wedding. That's way more expensive. And, it's that day. So that's more important than getting it. You can always get fragrances later. I'll say it for our guy, Ross. Go ahead and pick up that Evening Mystique bottle. Totally contradicted everything I just said. Oh my God. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, after the wet, see, he's not getting married for like another year. So, or it might be a little less than a year now. It's been a while since we talked about when your wedding date was going to be, but it'll have long been discontinued by that point. It won't be 155 anymore, 160. Yeah, 160. It won't be that anymore. Ooh, something like Overture Man from Amouage. That's my choice. My wife does not like that fragrance, but I love it. It's very daring, very uber masculine, pungent, smoky, boozy, ambery, almost a little ashy like smokiness to it. It's great. It's a statement maker for sure. Next September, so we're right under a year. There we go. They're similar in some ways, but Uomo Signature is way better than Halloween Man X. I think way better. What happens when they have? They dump the stock to the discounters. They just dump the stock. I think it's about 250 left of EM, and I'm definitely going to get a bottle soon. That's a nice assumption. That's not the number, but that's a great assumption. He's taking a shot to see how it was going to react, I guess, because that's definitely not the number. When you think about maceration, have you come back to a fragrance a couple years later and found it smells better? It's not necessarily a smells better thing. It's once you've atomized it several times, you're swapping out air for perfumer's alcohol and oil, and you start the breakdown process. It's really a breakdown process more so than maceration. It can be disguised as maceration because it's a similar process, but you start breaking the oils down more. That's why slowly your perfumer's alcohol will start to evaporate over time, because that process has started with the pumping action and the atomization of putting oxygen into the bottle more, where it's sealed now. When they poured it, obviously they had air being able to get into it, but once it got sealed and you start shifting the ratio, the oils start breaking down and the perfumer's alcohol slowly evaporates. Because you'll notice, like if you were to leave a cap off on a tester, or just in general, just leave this off. Let's say I've sprayed this, right? You just leave this sitting on a dresser for 5 years. You notice that level drops a little bit. It's going to drop a little bit because it's slowly evaporating. Because now there's a slow leak through the atomizer. Now, a cap doesn't completely stop it, but it will neuter the process a bit and make it that much more difficult for it to evaporate. Because you'll notice if you haven't touched anything in a while, there might be a little bit of oil buildup, a little residue when you pull the cap after a long time, obviously. We're not talking a month later or a couple of months later, year or two. Depends on how quick they evaporate, but it's more of a breakdown process than a maceration, because companies typically macerate. Big companies anyway, they macerate before they launch. Like Christian macerates Argos, no light, certain temperature for months on end before he blends with perfumer's alcohol and fills bottles. Like he's got a very strict, stringent way he macerates. You know what I mean? But that's also high level raw materials that age differently from synthetics. You got to keep that in mind. So that's not going to apply the same with everything. Just typically the luxury brands that use the high level oils. I've never even heard of that. Already thinking I want Burlington 1819 for my wedding, but could definitely see either Zed Creator being a contender. Quality is amazing on those two. We sure appreciate that, man. All three of those would be good options, even Mystique, Second Soul, or Burlington 1819. Justin would approve of all three of those choices too, because we both, obviously, we love both of our own fragrances, and we're big Burlington 1819 fans. Wore of the Immortals for the first time the other night, and I was amazed. Smelled so effing good. Sure did. Just scroll back a ways, man. I would scroll back to about because it was the first one we did. Scroll back to like the 12-minute mark, like 12 minutes into the stream. That's about where we started. Masculine yet young person fragrance for black tie. I'm going to assume teenager when you mean young person. I'm going to assume you mean teenager on into maybe 22, 23 range. I'm going to say 15 to 23 is, I think, the range we're talking here. And with that, you're going to want a safer play, because you're not going to like an Overture Man. If you're that age range, you're not going to like an Overture Man. Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme kind of thing. Something that's going to get the compliments. Oh, you smell so good when you're hugging mom and aunt and, around your girl. And yeah, go with the compliment factor for the younger men. Yeah. Don't try to make a bold statement and be the, topic of conversation. And I don't mean that as a bad thing with Overture Man. Like, so you separate yourself with stuff like that. As you get older, you're going to want to do more of that. Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme, something like that would be the one. Something in that vein. It doesn't have to be that exactly, but that's the route I would think for a young man. It would. But for the younger fellas, I would say something more mass appealing. Hundreds in my cart, and I wouldn't allow me to put more than 200 something. The number was different for all of them. I wasn't looking for a reaction. LOL, I just don't want to run out one. Yeah, there's a limit to what you can put in your cart. That's not the actual number. Like it'll just go and go and go to a certain point. It cuts out. It's Shopify. But yeah, that's not accurate, man. I'm not going to say it's more or less. It's just not accurate. The number is close to being gone, though. I'll tell you that. It's definitely close to being gone. What is your top smoothest fragrance you enjoy? I'm about smooth scents. Ooh. That's an interesting question. It's a difficult question. I got to look around a little bit. Ooh, one that's really smooth that surprised me. So surprised me, and it's super versatile. It's Gucci Guilty Parfum. This is a recent pickup. So smooth. Not super crazy orange blossom either, like the other versions. Like the Intense has way more scratchy type of orange blossom. This is smooth. It's beautiful. Fresh citrus. It's a little floral. It's woodsy. Oh, man, this is such a good one. I haven't put it in the rotation yet. I haven't done a full wearing, but it's super. Speaking of smooth, it caught my eye when I turned around. This is smooth. This is very smooth. Super, super easy to wear and versatile. Got Second Soul and Of the Immortals planning on picking up Evening, but I'm on the fence. However, Second Soul is incredible, literally mind-blowing. Indeed. They're all good. They're all good. There's no weaknesses in that collection of 3. That's for sure. So, guys, we're a little past an hour at this point. I mean, we covered the topic. I appreciate those of you that gave some super chats and all that. It's always greatly appreciated. Debating on what tomorrow's video is going to be. I've been getting a lot of performance questions lately, so I think it's time to talk performance with certain fragrances. Affordable stuff, too. I keep getting cheap, long-lasting. Time to revamp one of those, I guess, because that's every day, guys, especially in the shorts videos. That's where I see those comments a lot. The attention span crowd, as I like to call them. That's the young fellas, the under 1 minute videos. So might do that, but I also have this fragrance haul unboxing to do. So I may do that the following day. I'm not sure. But for those of you who haven't checked out today's weekly rotation, definitely came out on Monday instead of Sunday. That was intentional. So check them out if you haven't yet. I appreciate those of you for being here. Make sure to hit that thumbs up on your way out if you haven't yet. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Tomorrow's topic is probably going to be Essential Obsessions. I got some stuff from Kevin that he sent my way. So we'll probably do a Essential Obsessions live stream tomorrow. And so be on the lookout for that. I'll see you guys tomorrow to be back to the usual time, same bat channel, 3 o'clock Central. I'll get that set up because tomorrow should be back to our regularly scheduled programming for me. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a great rest of your evening.